adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever mind and they beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. When it's all said and done, I'll still be here standing. Never took a loss and it ain't something that I'm planning. I dare you to say something, my focus is A1. Every dog has its day, it's been mine since day one. This is real grinding, I'm still climbing. While you still trying, I'm still shining. It's real blinding, and I'm getting hotter too. Talking top 2, I'm not a 2. You let the pressure bother you when I do what I gotta do. Let's go hard.
Coming close to me, flow is on atomic, I'm starting fires through poetry. The hardest out, staying loyal, no falling out. And if you step into the court, be ready, we balling out. Yeah, the coldest of teens, they know what we bring, don't try us. Ain't no in between, we go for these dreams in silence. Hard work, don't mistake it for magic. We been shooting in the gym, this is target and practice. Yeah. And I'm just getting started, getting feet wet. It's all in repetition, ain't a secret. All facts, all black dress code. Pay me my respect, collecting every debt.
I go the hardest, I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard, go hard. Go hard.
Bienvenidos a Navarra, welcome back to Spain, welcome to the last race weekend of the E4 Spanish Winter Championship at the renewed Circuito de Navarra, which is today marked by the presence of the rain. As you can see on your screens, the water droplets are staining our lenses and of course the racetrack as well. We have a wet race declared to begin the weekend. We have had a qualifying session which has been of course already completed. We have a new pole sitter which we will very soon enter into detail. Thomas Trauen was the quickest man in qualifying. But of course, also to all the women who may be watching us and who are involved in motorsports, a very, very happy International Women's Day on this Saturday, 8th of March 2025. And of course, it is time to enjoy the first of the 3 races that we are going to have this weekend here at Navarra. As we were saying, it is the last weekend of the E4 Spanish Winter Championship. We will still have another race weekend for the Euro Cup 3 at the end of the month in Motorland Aragon. But meanwhile, it is time for the youngest members of the class to decide who our new champion is, as well as the last 3 winners of this Winter Series, which has been, of course, run throughout this month of February and March, and which has given these drivers a fantastic possibility to get back on track a little bit earlier than it would normally be usual in a very cold Europe, which, of course, is an advantage for these teams and drivers who are getting their seasons underway a bit earlier than other years without having to travel as far away as sometimes they have to do, going to the Middle East or to New Zealand for those winter championships, which have to flee to other locations where the temperatures are a little bit kinder to those who appreciate the fine art of motorsport. As we mentioned, we are back to Spain. We are back in Navarra, and we are watching the cars getting out of the garage, out of the pit lane, into that installation lap towards the starting grid, which will be formed in just a few minutes. As we mentioned at the start, we are going to experience a renewed Circuito de Navarra because we are watching this new 2024-2025 version of the track, which was not used last year for the Euro Cup 3 or Formula 4, and which basically changes the second sector from what used to be T10 to T13. It's now T10 to T14, and there is a little bit of a change. We will be able to mention this when we watch it actually on track, but we have a new overtaking spot in the new turn 11, which should be pretty exciting to watch, even though today in a wet race it is going to be exciting by default. So we are watching Vivek Kantan right now, the number 2 machine from Campos. This is the North American driver, the first classified rookie driver of the class of 2025, and he is starting the weekend with 67 points, which means that he is still within a mathematical chance of fighting for the championship with leader Thomas Trauen and second place driver Jan Przydowski. So it will be those two that will be fighting for that crown of the E4 Spanish Winter Championship. And to bring us all the information from the track, we have our good friend, our man on the mission, Miguel Portillo. Miguel, good morning, buenos días. And I can see from the wind on your hair that it is a little bit cold as well.
Not so much. It could be freezing or it could be freezer, but yeah, in this moment we are suffering a little bit. We are starting right now because it's drizzling right now, but more rain is coming. Let's see how it goes, but we are going to discover all together how the situation is here. And you can see on my hair there's a lot of wind, super gusty, 25 kilometers per hour uphill. That means 12 knots. If you are a sailor, if you sail in 12 knots, it's a little bit, so it's starting to be a lot. Try to imagine when you are driving a car going super fast, 200 kilometers per hour, suffer 12 knots or 25 kilometers per hour, kicking your car. I can really tell you that you suffer, you feel, because I have the chance to be in a single seater, and when it's gusty, when it's wind, you can feel it at all. So the drivers that they are going right now into the track are going to feel this wind. They're going to suffer not only because of the rain, that because of this wind that's going to hit and kick him uphill. Everybody's super nervous, Alex, because it's a new situation. Everybody with wet tires, trying to manage everything around, try to focus, to try to stay into the line when the race starts. Let's see if we're going to start behind the safety car if there's too much rain in it. I think we're going to have like a regular start, but okay, the situation is here. It's changing everything a lot, so a little bit nervous, but everybody's coming to the grid right now.
I can see, Miguel, that you are very fancy mentioning the speed of the wind in knots and not just in kilometers per hour. We know that everyone has their own way to check it. But I think you're very right that this is going to be a tricky situation for these drivers. For many of them, the wet track is also a new experience, especially for those rookies. But most importantly, Miguel, I want to ask you, how have you seen the nervousness inside the two teams that are going to fight for the championship? Because we have Thomas Strauben and Jan Przydowski, who are going to fight for the title this weekend, and I can imagine the tension must be palpable in the air as well.
I would say, Alex, that Campos are the team that are more, I would say, calmer than others because they have been in this situation for a long time. This morning, qualifying, starting with a wet condition. But I mean, there's no rain, but wet condition. All the drivers went out with wet compound, and immediately Campos was the first team saying, "Okay, everybody, go to slick tires. If we have a chance to go with the slicks, let's go and try to get the maximum of it." And they was the first team that came in and changed the tires. So they were like kind of realized, say, "Okay, that's the situation. Drizzling, the first drops coming into the track. So okay." Let's try to be focused, try to put the wet tires in, and everybody, all the rest of the team, they're going to follow us, and that's what they have done. I don't know if they are super nervous, the guys from Griffin of the Campos, because in some ways they are working all together. I think it's going to be like a fair battle when the race starts. So let's see if somebody can join this battle, like El Fegali that's coming with the Drivex. But I think the Campos team, they can manage the situation at all.
I see that you're talking about Campos managing the situation, and I'm watching the ladies from Campos racing behind you. I can see Emi from Campos as well. And, you know, everyone is struggling with the wind, and I can see that you're protecting themselves with the umbrella. Miguel, make sure that they do not go flying, because the wind is really, really strong. And I can see them struggling there.
Dancing in the rain, Alex.
Absolutely. This is all about enjoyment, yeah, I can see that. And I think, Miguel, that we have all the enjoyment ready for us as well, because we have the two main title contenders in the first row of the grid. They are two drivers from the Griffin Core by Campos team, so I can see why everyone is looking like they're enjoying themselves, because this is going to be a day where they have the result that they want, which is that 1-2, maybe going to get that 1-2. And there's options to have 1-2-3, which we saw in Portimao, and which this man, Andre Romera, was very keen to see happen in Portugal. So I'm sure that back in Spain, he will look forward to getting another 1-2-3, another full house of a podium in this very, very windy and already starting to be wet track here in Navarra.
I would say that the team know exactly how to work in the situation when you have like two contenders fighting for it. If you remember, Alex and everybody, when we would talk about the teams that could fight for the title, we said MP is going to be there, Griffin's going to be there, Campos is going to be there. So that's the end of the championship, and Griffin and Campos are fighting for it. I would say that Strauben have shown super strong. This morning he made 2 laps, 2 super laps. The very first one we thought that it was a glory run, but it was not, because immediately he did another one improving his time. So Strauben is super strong. I think he got the pace. He have the pace here also, as you mentioned, in Portimao, and he got here. So for me, is the title contender that is more strong right now. Let's see what happened during the race and what happened in a wet race where you have to show what do you have in your hands behind the steering wheel. So for me, is a chance to see what they're really made of. When it's raining, everything equally. So everything became like more equal, as you know. But all our heroes, our motorsport heroes, did years ago, like Senna, all the guys you love driving behind or down the rain. So there's a super chance to see Straven, Prigonski, and Fegali, and all the guys coming behind.
Exactly. We know that when the rain makes an appearance, drivers have to use all their talent to dominate those tricky conditions, especially because, Miguel, we mention this often, and some people might think that this is very obvious, but training in the rain is not that easy because it's not raining every time that you go on track, so you have many laps on the dry, but you don't have so many laps on water.
I would say that not so many drivers have had the chance to try the tires and also the cars during this winter, because they have done some tests, but this is a new situation with this tarmac, this new tarmac, how it works with the drain. We saw the tarmac, the super new, less than a year, who has been resurfaced. As we told you, there's a new management here in this track, MSB, Motorsport Visual, with Jonathan Palmer ahead of them. They invest 5 million euros to have the very best circuit, the very best track, and everything around this track, like the restaurant, the new tower, everything around is new. So we are so happy to see this situation, try to get the best side of it, that we're going to see in this tricky situation the best way to manage it. So the track is ready, everybody's ready, and I think also the drivers are ready and the teams are ready. So we are seeing all the guys coming out with the wet tires and also the slick tire ready for this afternoon. Maybe if they have the chance to do to use them. But I think we have to enjoy. We have to enjoy what are they made of, as I said. And it's a tricky situation, but Alex, rain is a rain, and we have to race in all conditions. They are mature enough to manage it, so let's enjoy.
Exactly, because these drivers are very young but very mature in terms of motorsport. We speak about, yes, they don't have experience on the rain in these cars, but we know that many of them have raced in karting under the rain. So, of course, this will not be a new experience necessarily in all senses, and we have these drivers completely prepared, completely ready to face the first race of the weekend. Thank you very much, Miguel Portillo, who has been our man on the field for this whole Spanish Winter Championship, both in Eurocup 3 and E4. And of course, it is time for him to get under the protection of some kind of roof, because the rain is intensifying relatively a little bit. We can see also the wind, which he very smartly and very fancily mentioned that it's equal to 12 knots. So for those of you that like navigating, that like dominating boats on the water, then that's the measurement that you have to keep in mind. For those that prefer the usual numbers, that would be around 25 kilometers per hour. The teams are leaving the starting grid right now, and we have all the 32 cars on the grid prepared to start this formation lap. And we will soon have that first race of the weekend, going for those usual 30 minutes plus one lap. And as we mentioned before, we have the two Griffin Core by Campos main title contenders starting from the first row on the grid. Thomas Strauen will start ahead Jan Prizowski in that second position, number 99 against number 23, both title rivals. Behind them, Christopher Fegali in third place with Rivex. He has been very competitive throughout the past two rounds, and he will be once again another man to follow the Red Bull Junior driver. Ahead of Niklas Saufler, another of the Red Bull supported drivers. Rounding up the top five, Vivek Kantan from Campos Racing, the best rookie so far in the season. Behind them, Ian Eggmans, Riva, Stephen Haydens, Fiorentino, Costa, closing the top 10. And behind Lammers, Schwartz, Tai, Bastarrica, Van Pat Bosch, Monteiro, Trapa, Panetta, Petrovic, Francot, Suslov, Spina, Lee, Tuñón, Campos, Bogunovic, the Carras siblings, Monarca, Dobrzansky, Garduño, and Jacobi from 32nd and last place on the grid. We are watching the cars already starting that formation lap, which I suspect as we see the safety car ahead, that technically is already the first lap of the race, as the live timing confirms it to us. So that means we do not have a standing start. So this is considered as the safest way to start this race. We know that these drivers have been pretty hot-headed in the past 6 races that we had in the Spanish Winter Championship, and so we can anticipate around a couple of laps before we actually have a green flag situation. So we are watching this safety car leading the pack as we see the cars getting to that T6 into T7, which will lead into a right-hander that is T8, leading to the back straight that goes into T9, which is a fantastic overtaking spot. And it is after this T9 and the following T10 where we will see all the new parts of this Navarra circuit, which under Motorsport Vision has had some modifications for the 2025 season. A circuit, for those that enjoy bike racing, that also features in the British Superbike Championship as the only visit that the series does outside of their local United Kingdom. And this is that section from T9, T10 into that hairpin that is T11. This is the place going into that fast right and left-hander T12 into T13, which we are watching right now. That leads into turn 14, which is already back into what used to be the already previous circuit here in Navarra. We are watching behind. You can see some of the older parts of the circuit. But for the time being, what we are watching is the whole pack of 32 participants already making it back to the start-finish straight. And that will be the first lap of the race completed. Once again, reminder that the race is technically already underway, but it is under the safety car due to the presence of water on the track, with frankly pretty tricky conditions, because despite the presence of water, despite the rain tires mounted on the 32 cars that are participating in the race, they do not have a completely, perfectly and evenly wet track, if there is such a thing as an evenly wet track in any place in the world. But it still has some dry patches, and so it would be considered to be too risky to start the race from a usual standing start. Hopefully we will get to see it perhaps later today for the sprint race, or if not today, then for sure tomorrow we might have that last standing start of the Spanish Winter Championship for the E4 class this weekend here in Navarra. And once again, a note to keep in mind for those that are perhaps a little bit late into our broadcast, that are joining us perhaps now, perhaps missed the start. Well, you're in luck, because the race is still to be properly starting. We have had some minutes of that 30-minute mark counted down, but we do not have yet a green flag. And as we were saying, we are watching these two men in the first and second place, Thomas Strauben, Jan Przydowski. Those are the two drivers who are fighting for the championship. Those are the two drivers who are starting from the first and second position. And so the fight for the race win will be today. The fight also for the championship. Behind them, the two Red Bull liveried machines. They are not teammates, because Christopher Fegal is driving for Drivex, while Niklas Saufler is driving for the KCL MP Motorsport team. But their Red Bull liveries put them together in a sense as both members of the Red Bull Junior stable. Those drivers that hope to impress Helmut Marko and make their way into Formula One. They will want to follow on the footsteps of certain famous drivers like Sebastian Vettel, like Max Verstappen, like other junior drivers like Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, and most recently Isaac Hadja, who is the latest Red Bull Junior driver to join the Formula One grid this season in the Racing Bulls team. Meanwhile, we are watching the safety car going back into the pit lane because this means it's time for racing. Thomas Trouwen will be bunching the group behind him, and when he feels it's the best moment, it will be his decision to finally push the accelerator, which I think he is doing already now, and he's going to try and leave all the rivals behind. And we are under green flag finally. We are starting the race. We have 24 minutes ahead of us, and we are seeing the fight between Fegali and Saufler side by side into the first corner. Meanwhile, is the fight for first place with Przybylski trying to do that cross line. And we have a spin already into the first corner. I think that's Kantan probably. We will have to watch more carefully. We have also a side-by-side by the two Griffin Core by Campos drivers, first and second place. The track is very, very, very tricky. And I can confirm that it is Vivek Kantan who has had that spin into the second corner, first braking spot. And we are watching that tiny kink corner to the right, and that tense moment between the two Griffin Core by Campos teammates with Jan Przybylski, who was briefly ahead of his rival, but he is down to second place and will have to defend himself from a certain number 33 Red Bull livered machine. Christopher Fegali, who is going a little bit too hot in the air, and he's going wide. And he loses a little bit of time there, but that helps Przybylski keep that second place, and Saufler going up to third and into second as well. And we are watching that fight for third place between... well, it was third place at one point. It is fight for second place again between Przybylski and Fegali. And this track is particularly tricky in this new area, this new point with the new tarmac. And we are watching the cars driving very, very gingerly because we have a safety car situation once again. And that will no doubt be related to that spin we saw from Vivek Kantan. But also we are seeing that we are missing the number 17 car from... or I should say the number 5 car rather, by Miguel Costa. So we have our first victim to this race. And so, well, this is a usual race start here in the E4 Spanish Winter Championship. And Christopher Fegali was going really, really hot in there, was trying to keep the line, and went a little bit too wide. And how quickly Jan Przybylski saved it when he was accelerating there out of the corner. And that is indeed one of the stranded cars that might be Costa's machine. And so it is that one that will have to be recovered before we can have another green flag restart. Unfortunately, we've only had then one racing lap in those 10 minutes. Well, it is the presence of the water, the presence of the rain, folks, which, as you know, it's always making things a little bit more tense than we would like them to be. But it is also because of that reason that drivers need to do an extra effort. And we are watching that chasing group as we see also that race order. There we see now that is very clearly car number 5 Costa. And we are down to the pit lane with Miguel Portillo. Miguel, how do you see the situation here from the pit lane? What can you tell us?
Alex, the race had changed, so the leader has changed. Somebody is leading the the grid right now. We were talking before, if someone can be in a new situation, we will go later on to campus to see what's going on. I want to show you that we have found a roof, so we are in a good condition here waiting in the pit lane, watching the safety car inside. Also they're doing the mechanics and all the people coming inside of the garage, of the boxes, to try to stay safe. We are close to one of the tires that they are using right now. This tire, how they wash all the lines inside with all the water coming in, and the spray go out that way. The front tires and also the rear tire that work the same way. This is a new one. They have the 3 set compounds for all the weekend. If they got of they need to use them, the water gone inside. They do. We usually use these compounds in our road cars. They are the same for the competition cars. So we are here. We are safe. All the teams waiting for the race to not restart, but resume again. And the safety car is on track. So they are doing another lap, waiting for this situation to sort of recover for the situation, and let's see. We have like a regular race because we really love to see these drivers on wet conditions. So let's enjoy, and later on we go to campus to see how the situation fighting for the championship.
Thank you very much, Miguel Portillo. I allow you to go to Santi Torres as well to let him know that you are safe. I am very relieved to know that you are well protected and under a safe roof. In this case, it was Monlau Motorsports' roof that kept our man on the field safe. And we will send him to our friend Santi Torres in the Spanish broadcast as well to make sure that we all know that our Miguel Portillo is in good hands, as are these drivers on track. And we are seeing a change of order in the first places under the safety car. I'm not sure if there is something wrong with the transponder by the race leader. Because, as you can clearly see, it is Thomas Trouwen who is in first place. I'm very sure that some of our fans might have been wondering why I never mentioned that it was Przewalski who was in first place in the standings. Well, this is exactly why, because we are seeing it right now, that it is a transponder issue that is giving us wrong information, wrong data on the live timing currently, which fortunately now seems to be fixed. But it is the two Griffin Corby Campos drivers who are right now on the first 2 positions. That is without a doubt the situation that we have, and hopefully Miguel Portillo can have this opportunity to go and talk to the team that is probably going to have the most nervous but also most desirable position of the circuit. Why? Because they have their 2 drivers in the first 2 positions, their 2 title candidates in the first 2 positions, but also the anxiety of having to deal with these 2 young hotheads, these young drivers who both want to win, both want to take the crown home, both want to take the bigger trophy. And when you are a team leader, this is probably what gets you the most nervous, because you always know that both are going to take risks. They have all the reason to take those risks, and of course, with just 16 minutes, as we will cross the line soon, as we will have that green flag again, we are almost guaranteed to see some fighting. We have seen already some side-by-side action by these 2 drivers. And as we watch Thomas Trouwen bunching all the group behind him, it's almost time for us to go back into racing. Into the last corner, Thomas Trouwen, the Belgian driver, he will have to decide what is the best moment to push the gas and try and leave the drivers behind. He does so, but he's followed very closely by Przewalski, Fegali and Saufler also very closely. This mimics almost to a T the previous race restart, which was actually the race start. So far it is Trouwen who keeps that first position, but we have a side-by-side between the first and second place drivers, also by the third and fourth place drivers. And so we see who is the one that gets ahead. And it is, so far, Thomas Trouwen, who still keeps first place ahead of Przewalski, who still is going to try and do the overtake. And I think he got it. We do have a crash behind, though. I've seen some carbon fiber flying in the background. And I wonder if that is going to be enough for another neutralized race, another safety car period, which we would hate to have. And do not necessarily pay attention to that timing, because it is saying that Fegali is in first place, but he is clearly not in first place. We have seen how Jan Przewalski is the new race leader, ahead of the two Red Bull livery machines of Fegali and Schaufler. And it is Strauben who falls down to fourth place. That is not what he was going to look for in that race restart. But he is very quickly attacking the number 10 Red Bull machine up into third place Strauben. And he will be attacking Fegali. We have enough. This is a spin by Spina. As we watch that Griffin core by Campos overtaking, getting into third place, into second as well. Round the outside of Fegali, and he manages to make the move stick. And we're also seeing how Eggmans and Stephen Haydens managed to get past Niklas Schaufler. Schaufler, who has not really managed to be comfortable so far in this 2025 Spanish Winter Championship. We were watching also the number 2 machine by Vivek Kantan, who is the driver who lost that front wing that we were mentioning before. And Stephen Hayden's pushing hard and trying to get into the slipstream of the number 99 machine by Thomas Strauben. Meanwhile, Jan Prizowski has done a great first lap under green flag conditions, and he is 2.5 seconds ahead of the pack. When it's raining, these kind of advantages, these kind of gaps can be decisive. Oh, and there's a spin behind. That is one of the Campos machines. I see also the MP Motorsport machine, one of the Red Bull machines. And this might be possibly a safety car if any of the cars ends up stranded on track. That should be Fegali and Stephen Haydens, I think. Which changes how the race looks, because this leaves Prizowski with an advantage of over 3 seconds to Strauben. And René Lammers in third place. René Lammers, we know that he is a very good driver under the wet. He did that a couple of years ago in the karting. He showed it last year as well. And he is doing a very good job ahead of Ian Eggmans, the first rookie driver of the race. And Nathan Ty, another driver who we know is a very good race driver. He sometimes struggles with qualifying, but he very rarely misses performance on the race. He started from 13th on the grid, and he's up to 5th already. Oh, and that is a very damaged machine. I would say that looks to be Fegali's car. And so that is going to be a retirement by the number 33 Drivex car. And once again, for the third time this race, we have a safety car period, which should not last until the end of the race, hopefully, but will greatly reduce the time that we have to watch this driver's race. And who is the one who gets the most benefit of this situation? Well, that is Thomas Strauben, who was 3 seconds away from the leader, from his teammate, from his championship rival. And now, thanks to this safety car, all this gap is reduced to naught. Now you're watching all the drivers in the group, in the back, trying to keep the temperatures up on these cars, because they will very much need to keep those tires as warm as possible, especially considering that it is, as our man on the field, Miguel Portillo, mentioned before, particularly cold, particularly miserable, and windy as well. So this is also another challenge to keep into consideration, especially, as we were saying, because we will have at least a few laps which will be run under the safety car. And under the safety car, lower speeds always mean lower temperatures. And when you have a restart, you absolutely need to have the best temperature possible, because that is how you make sure that you have a good chance to defend yourself from your rivals, or, if you need it, to attack your rivals. Sometimes it is necessary. And this would be particularly important for Jan Prizowski and Thomas Strauben. Remember, those are the two drivers who are fighting not only for the race win, also for the championship. As we watch Nathan Tai right now, one of the Roden car's drivers, and one of the drivers who has been more capable when starting from the back. We are less than 10 minutes away until the clock reaches 0. The track services are doing their best to wheel away that machine. And I am seeing also Miguel Campos, who retired in the first lap. And I think that is the negative side of racing, of course, to drivers who are out of the race in separate accidents, in separate incidents, who are, of course, exchanging opinions and, well, probably exchanging commiserations. Meanwhile, we are waiting. We are hoping that we can have a restart very, very soon. Not on this lap yet, but I suspect that we may be able to be racing again after the next lap. We should be having a 2-minute gap until we are back here. So we would have around 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Maybe a little bit less, but around just under 7 minutes on the clock. Should be enough for a few green flag laps. If these drivers behave, if these drivers manage to stay out of trouble, which we hope that they will do. But this is a good old adage of racing, which is yellows breed yellows. We know that when there's a safety car period, all the cars are bunched together, and when all the cars are bunched together, it's more likely that a few of them will find themselves fighting each other. Which brings situations like the ones we've seen, side-by-side situations, several cars fighting for position, and in some cases, some of them might even have some sort of contact. So, this is the never-ending wheel of safety cars and yellow flag periods. Hopefully, we are watching though, waiting for the opportunity to have at least a few green flag laps to enjoy this newly resurfaced circuit of Navarra, which has new tarmac, especially in some of the sections, as we are watching and as our cameras are showing us often. And this new tarmac, which of course will not necessarily drain in the same way as the old tarmac does, and so for these drivers, it will be very important to keep track of the differences between the new and old sections. We are watching, for example, this is one of the sections. You can clearly see where the new tarmac starts, which is where we are now. All this section is new completely from last year. And as the most veteran racing fans will know, new tarmac is always tricky when it comes to rain. It's greasy, it's slippery, it's annoying to drive. But from us, on the other side, from our very, very comfortable seating positions, or standing, if you're watching them standing, that would also be an option, it is always enjoyable. And what could be more enjoyable than watching these drivers getting back to green flag conditions? That is what we will have once we get to the main straight once again. And so after a long 3-minute wait after the last lap, we will have just under 6 minutes to see what brings this first race of the weekend. Back into the main straight, and it will be Jan Brzozowski who needs now to deliver and who needs to decide when he pushes. He does so, and he does it with Thomas Trouwen just behind him, and René Lammers trying to find that option. And it is a very, very close situation between the two teammates, the two title contenders. There are some overtakes behind as well, and we're watching some of the cars already fighting for position. That main straight first corner. We have a side-by-side between the two Griffin by Campos drivers. We need to see who is going to come out ahead. We haven't been able to see exactly what the position is, but I suspect it is Brzozowski who is still ahead. That is also what the timing is telling us, but we have a brief yellow flag period there. We had some drivers going out of the track. Nathan Tai pushing hard, trying to chase after that podium finish. And be mindful of Ian Eggmans and Thomas Strauben, as well as René Lammers, Jan Przydowski, and all the drivers that come behind, because all of them could be candidates not just for a podium finish, but even maybe for a win. But Przydowski is trying to do the best he knows, the best he can. Push, 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 and go ahead and try to escape from all the rivals that would have him relent his position. But he is having none of that. The Polish driver, remember, he was the first leader of the season after winning not just the first race in Jerez, but also the third race of the weekend. He was leading the championship after the first round, and only that retirement in the first race in Portimao prevented him from being first in the championship. He arrived to Navarra just 5 points behind his teammate, and now this difference between first and second place drivers would mean that we might have an interesting situation for the sprint race this afternoon. Why? Well, because the pole position was for Thomas Strauben. That means points for the Belgian driver. So those 5 points will become 7 between them in the main standings. And how many points are there between first and second place in a race, you say? Well, that is exactly 7 points. So assuming that none of them would have the fastest lap, we might see them reaching the sprint race tied on points. And that would be, I think, quite interesting. But that is, of course, assuming that Thomas Strauben might not have a chance to win this race, and he is certainly trying. Even though Przydowski was running away, he was managing to escape in the previous lap. We are seeing a very, very aggressive Thomas Strauben trying to keep close to his teammate and rival. Driving very close to first place, Thomas Strauben. And we have a spin. This is number 78. Of course, we are talking about Alfio Spina, the Italian driver from TC Racing. And I can see how Strauben is trying to do those different lines. And this is the replay. Oh, this is what happened. It was not just Spina, it was also Alex Jacobi, the Monlau Motorsport driver. And well, I think we are watching the two drivers who are absolutely going to fight for the win, because they are running away from the rest. They are getting that gap to René Lammers. And we can also see that Jan Przydowski is taking the risk. He's using all the track a little bit more, even the curbs. We know that the curbs are particularly risky when it's raining, but the Polish driver knows that he has to do it if he wants to have a chance at fighting for the title. We were saying that these drivers might be tied on points for this sprint race if this finishes the way it is. But if the result was reversed, that would be very, very helpful for Strauben. Remember, the Spanish Winter Championship for the E4 class is going to finish this weekend here in Navarra. And so every point counts, and every point is vital for that fight. Oh, I'm seeing that fight, which is still raging on. Przydowski is still keeping that first place. And we are seeing Strauben trying his best to just keep up, to try and put pressure on his teammate. And I can only imagine how nervous all the Campos people must be feeling right now. Because, yes, of course, it's a title to play for, but they know that there is also a race win, a second place, and they don't want to lose it. Meanwhile, Ian Eggmans has managed to get past René Lammers. So that means that we would currently have another presence of the Belgian contingent in this race in the podium, because the number 4 ACL MP Motorsport driver is right now in third place after having overtaken René Lammers, both following Przydowski and Strauben. And so we are watching the race leaders as the clock reaches 0, and that means As it does so, before we get to the start-finish straight, we will have one more lap as we cross the line. So we have one lap ahead of us. And oh, there's an attempt by Thomas Strauben. He knows that he doesn't have a lot of time left. He only have a few kilometers ahead of him if he wants to do it. And so it is up to him to see if he has a chance to attack. But Jan Przewalski, we know that he's a very, very strong driver when it comes to dogfighting, to close quarters battles. And we want to see how that battle is developing. So far it seems with Jan Przewalski ahead, keeping the head as cool as possible. But the driver is very, very close. Ian Eggman seems to be safe in third place. That would be enough in that third position. One Ian Eggman, who has done a good job this Spanish Winter Championship. He was second in the first race in Portugal, and he has a couple of sixth places. He is the second best placed rookie driver so far. And with these points, he might be able to get quite close to Bibi Kantan. Number 23 and number 99. We are getting to the second half of this Circuito de Navarra. We are getting into the new section, that is turn 10. Now back straight into turn 11. And I suspect, if there is no mistake, and there has been a little bit of a mistake there. I was going to say Jan Przewalski seemed to have things under control, but he went a little bit wide there and allowed Thomas Strauben to get very, very close, uncomfortably so. And we are into the last sector. Strauben, who will have only one more chance into the last corner. It's going to be very tight, but I think that Jan Przewalski has done everything he needed to do to get that race win, but he's going to have to deal with the last-minute lunge from Thomas Strauben. That was not enough, however. And so, as we watch the cars getting into the under the checkered flag, that is a race win by Jan Przewalski, who takes his third victory of the season. That is a win by the Polish driver, fourth, I should say, victory of the season. And he beats his championship rival Thomas Strauben on the first win of the weekend. Great fight by these two drivers. As we were saying, fourth win by Jan Przewalski, ahead of Thomas Strauben, with Ian Eggman rounding up that top three, ahead of René Lammers, Nathan Tye, Niklas Saufler. In that sixth place finally, with seventh place for Matus Riva, followed by Andrei Petrovic in 8th place, Hudson Schwartz in 9th place, and Noah Monteiro rounding up the points paying positions at 10th place for the Portuguese driver, who will also be the third place rookie on today's race. Well, that has been a very, very interesting race that we've seen, and that means that Jan Przewalski manages to cut down that advantage by 7 points to Thomas Strauben. And if I'm looking at the fastest lap, I think it does not belong to any of these drivers. I think it is Niklas Saufler who has been the fastest driver on the track. So if that is the case, that would mean that Przewalski and Strauben will face the sprint race level on points. Well, that is a story that we will be very interested to seeing, because the tension will be palpable. I think we can pretty much cut it with a knife. And of course, we're seeing all the drivers getting back into the pit lane, and I am sure that Jan Przewalski will have some interesting comments, thoughts to share with us about driving under the rain, about defending his lead from his teammate and rival Thomas Strauben, and maybe, who knows, about what he expects about the next two races. I look forward to seeing what the Polish driver is going to tell us. Meanwhile, we're watching Thomas Strauben, that is second place driver, the Belgian, He was starting from first place, and he finished in that second position. I am sure he expected a little bit more, but today his teammate, we are watching him, Jan Prigozhin, was unbeatable. And so here comes the race winner, the man who wants to take the title. For Griffin by Campos, it will be a fight between these two drivers of the Spanish team that will be duking it out on what's left. And that is a season, especially also for the regular season when it starts later this month in Aragon. So this is the winning man of today, Jan Prigozhin, ready to talk to our men on the field, to Miguel Portillo, who will bring us the winning thoughts of the winning man. Good greeting also with the other
Jan, congratulations.
occupants of the podium. We go with the race winner.
Let's go, Alex. We got the driver here. Oh, congratulations, Jan. What a drive. How was driving in wet condition? Because we saw you super comfy.
First of all, thank you. And second of all, it's been just like dry, you know, just try and maximize everything that I have in the car and in me. And it managed to be enough to win, so I'm really happy about the performance.
And also have to manage the situation because safety cars, the wet condition, but also getting drier, your teammate behind you, a lot of things on track.
Yeah, the race wasn't easy. We had quite a bit of contact between us. We touched a few times, but it was hard, good racing, and I really liked it.
Ready to fight for the championship?
Yeah, obviously, no?
Go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miguel Portillo. Those were the thoughts of the race winner, Jan Prigozhin, who has been absolutely outstanding today and who has done a great job both on and off the track, I think, because he not only was quick when he had to drive the wheels of this machine, but also when setting up the car for very tricky conditions. And I think that we have a fantastic condition for the last two races of this Spanish Winter Championship season for the E4 class, as we are watching some of the best moments of this first race of the weekend. Miguel Portillo, what do you think? What do you make of this winner today, Jan Prigozhin, who has shown that he has what he needs to be a champion?
We talked about that before, Alex, and everybody who watched the race or is watching the race. This post, I have to think about it, how difficult it is to drive in this condition. But it's the moment to show if you are man enough, if you are driver enough to win a race like that with so tricky conditions, difficult situation. So you have a chance. You have a chance to show to the world that behind the wheel you can manage everything. And we saw Jan did it absolutely great. Straven also did it great, but I think Janet felt a little more comfy. So I'm so anxious, eager to see more battle because they're going to see again in the reverse grid, and hopefully on Sunday after the second qualifying. So we have a super weekend here, super excited. I also love the level because they have like a super level, technically, physically, also super clean on track. So I really love this battle. We're going to enjoy, Alex.
Absolutely, Miguel Portillo, our man on the field. We are absolutely going to enjoy this. And as you say, the level is so high. We have to remember that this is the Spanish Winter Championship E4 class, but these drivers are going to take part in the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And I think you will agree with me, Miguel, but this is probably one of the strongest fields in Formula 4 class anywhere in the world.
Thank you very much.
As we were saying, Miguel, that this is probably one of the strongest groups of Formula 4 drivers in the world, and we know that we are going to enjoy watching them racing in the next two races this weekend. We will have a shorter race, remember the sprint race this afternoon in just a few hours. We will have, of course, another race tomorrow, and those two will be the ones that will decide who gets to take the championship trophy back home with them. And I know that these two drivers really, really want it. Miguel, we were saying this is probably one of the strongest fields in Formula 4 machines all around the world, and I think that we have everything we need to enjoy the next two races this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And also yesterday, Jonathan Palmer, the guy who is in charge, the driver who is in charge of this track, told to them, I say, you are a super grid, you are a super driver, so you have to take every opportunity, every situation to show that you are ready for the next step. And also, I think they are fighting among them. They make better driver to the partner, to the other colleague who are racing to or against, because we have seen many side-by-side, two drivers into one corner, also managing the off track, because the track limit was super different in this track with the wet condition and dry condition. So every chance who all the drivers have is a chance to everybody to see what are they made of. So super excited also for the reverse grid, because see this guy in the middle of the package attacking is going to be super thrilling.
I think we have all the ingredients, as you were saying, Mel Portillo, to enjoy what we will have for the next few races, the next races this weekend. Thank you very much once again for bringing us all the information. I can see that the race has stopped falling now, so that is very good. Now you don't have to hide from the water falling from the sky. So thank you, Miguel Portillo, once again. Enjoy a little bit better weather. And I'm not sure if we are going to be able to watch the podium. I know that you will be able to watch it from the ground, so I hope that you will be able to enjoy that. But anyway, hopefully you get to enjoy better temperature, and we will be for sure meeting later on for the sprint race. And so we are waiting to see if we get some images from the podium, which we do, in fact, get. And those will be the last few moments that we have to enjoy these top drivers from today. Jan Przewalski, Thomas Strauben, and Ian Eggmans, these two Belgian drivers who have shown their mettle today under a weather that they are probably quite used to dealing with. When it rains, it pours sometimes in those countries. We don't have to remind you just how common it is to watch some race falling on tracks like Spa-Francorchamps or Zolder, two of the most famous Belgian circuits, which have seen many quality races through the years, through the decades actually. And so these drivers are used to driving in the rain, both from their own starting national karting championships, but also in European level. Many of these drivers also have driven in the UK, in Eastern Europe, in Northern Europe. And so, well, now it is time to face the Spanish rain, which in this case falls mainly in Navarra. And we are watching Ian Eggmans going out on the podium on that third place, more than deserved. He has done a fantastic job on this first race of the weekend. Second place for, we are watching him now, the second place by Thomas Strauben, who is of course a little bit disappointed that he does not get to win that race. So if there is one man that is smiling more than anyone else right now, this is Jan Przewalski, who has been outstanding and who has earned the right to listen to the Polish national anthem in honor of the race winner.
Vamos a escuchar el himno de Polonia.
And this is the top three of our first race of the weekend. Congratulations to all of them because they have been absolutely fantastic in a very, very, very tricky race, especially considering that the rain made things a little bit more complex because we saw a few presences of the safety car, we saw a few interruptions, but fortunately that was not enough to dampen their spirits, and they have proven that they deserve to be on top, and they've done a great, great job. We have ahead of us this fight for the championship. It is a fight between Jan Przydowski and, of course, Thomas Strauben, the two drivers that are going to be arriving to the sprint race level on points, same points for both. And so that means that we are going to have a cracker of a race weekend ahead of us. It was already going to be good. It was already going to be interesting and exciting. And I think right now we could not ask for more. And so this is trophy for third place for Eggmans. It is second place trophy for Strauben. And of course, the trophy for the race winner, Jan Przydowski, who has earned a fourth win of the season. He has done a great job. But now he needs to focus because there is still one more race to be won. At least one today. And there will be, of course, another one for tomorrow. Now it's time for the important picture to remember, to show to the sponsors, to show to your family. And the celebrations, which I'm not sure if the drivers are very keen on doing them because today is a very wet and humid day. And if they get drenched in the champagne, well, some of them might not have a spare race suit for the afternoon race. But at least we have Jan Przydowski, who still wants to celebrate a little bit, even if it's timidly. So this was the race one for the E4 Spanish Winter Championship here in the Circuito de Navarra. That is the first of the three races this weekend, last round of the 2025 Spanish Winter Championship season. And we look forward to enjoying a sprint race later this afternoon. We hope that you will join us as well, because I can guarantee this is going to be a great one. So wait for it, enjoy your break, but join us later because we have more racing waiting for us.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever mind and they beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. When it's all said and done, I'll still be here standing. Never took a loss and it ain't something that I'm planning. I dare you to say something. My focus is A1. Every dog has his day. It's been mine since day one. This is real grind and I'm still climbing. While you still trying, I'm still shining. It's real blinding. And I'm getting hotter too. Talking top 2, I'm not a 2. You let the pressure bother you and I do what I gotta do. Let's go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard.
They ain't coming close to me. Flow is on atomic, I'm starting fires through poetry. The hardest out, staying loyal, no falling out. And if you step into the court, be ready, we balling out. Yeah, the coldest of teens, they know what we bring, don't try us. Ain't no in between, we go for these dreams in silence. Hard work, don't mistake it for magic. We been shooting in the gym, this is target in practice. Yeah. And I'm just getting started, get my feet wet. It's all in repetition, ain't a secret. All facts, all black dress code. Pay me my respect, collecting every debt.
I go the hardest. I bring the pain.